Time now for the markets with Leighton, and you say there's a possible break in wholesale beef prices?
Perhaps an extension economist will be here to discuss that in a moment. Also ahead in the markets, hog prices appear to firm up. Soybean consumption draws attention as biodiesel production sets a record. We begin in the beef sector, where the direction of wholesale prices and some fresh report numbers are being big topics for discussion. Extension Ag economist Brian Williams joined me Thursday morning. Well, Brian, let's back up to that January 24th on-feed report first. Talk about placements and total number of cattle on feed.
Well, I guess to start off, we'll run through some of the numbers. The total number on feed was expected to be down around 6%. The actual numbers came in down around 5.4%. The marketing was expected to be up just over 2%, and it was actually down 0.5% from a year ago. And then the placements were expected to be down almost 2%, and they actually ended up 1%.
So most of these numbers kind of within the range of the pre-report guesses, no real surprises.
They were no big surprises. The on feed were close to the high end of the range, but they were still within the range of expectations.
Would this be a time as far as trying to hedge some cattle or getting some protection through puts? Any kind of recommendations or suggestions there?
Well, the report overall was slightly bearish, a slightly bearish report, which could and did bring prices down just a little bit. But at the same time, there's still a lot of pressure because of the low cattle numbers to keep the prices from going too far down.
All right, there's been a little bit of buzz this week. One of your colleagues at Oklahoma State saying that, in his opinion, wholesale beef prices may be coming down, cooling off a little bit. How do you see that situation?
Yeah, we saw last week the wholesale boxed beef was trading around $2.40 per pound. This week it's closer to $2.30, so we've seen a decrease in the boxed beef prices. But the big question is that a matter of short term or long term? The short term, there's been some events. I'm sure that most people are aware of the snowstorm that came through the south and the cold weather that's kept people from consuming the beef. And so is it that short term thing, or is it a longer term trend?
All right, Friday the semi-annual cattle report comes out. We're actually recording this before Friday afternoon. Is that expected to have any ramifications for the market?
There's some potential. It's a report we're really watching closely. Right now the expectation is that all cattle and calves are going to be down about 1.4%. But the big thing that we've been looking at with cattle on feed reports and stuff is that there's been some indication of an increase in replacements, and is that going to show up?
In the hog sector, it appears market prices will be firm. Analyst Steve Meyer of Paragon Economics says pork production will be down 2 to 4% in the first and second quarters due to porcine epidemic diarrhea virus. He believes this drop in output will be positive for farm gate prices. Meanwhile, analyst John Roach is also optimistic about hog prices moving forward.
We think in general the hog market moves higher, but again, we've got sell signals on the charts. So we're up into price areas that if you're looking for places to be putting some hedges on or getting some puts, this is probably the right area to be looking. But we're not negative the market. We think price levels will be firm. We think that we're really getting into some of the better supply periods here as we move forward.
Our trivia quiz this week concerns water, and here's the question: how much of our world's agricultural land is irrigated? Is the answer 18%, or 25%, or 49%, or 64%? I'll tell you at the end of the markets. We move into row crops now in the markets and begin this segment with soybeans. Traders continue to be focused on the bean supply, watching crop prospects in South America, as well as the speculation about U.S. acreage. AgFacts.com reports the market is bracing for bean demand to shift to South America, but so far, weekly export reports haven't shown much of a slowdown. Illinois ag economist Darrell Good says at this point, soybean consumption seems to be on track to exceed available supply. Meanwhile, in the wheat market, discussion is centering on whether a bottom has been put in for prices. Analyst Alan Brugler says wheat prices have definitely gotten more competitive as far as foreign sales, and that exports generally start to pick up again as we get towards the end of winter.
Realistically, the problem with wheat is that Canada had a huge crop that they're trying to move. They've got problems moving it. There's about a 30,000 rail car backup right now for moving wheat out of Canada. But that's forcing wheat south into the U.S. where they can. You've got Australia just having completed their harvest and competing in the world market. You've got India trying to move some wheat. And so the U.S. has had to lower our prices fairly considerably to get some activity. We did this week. We sold some wheat to Egypt, and that was an indication prices had gotten low enough to be competitive.
Newly released figures from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency indicate that the U.S. biodiesel industry set a new record in 2013. Production reached almost 1.8 billion gallons. The National Biodiesel Board is now calling on the Obama administration to increase its renewable fuel standard proposals to at least reflect current biodiesel production rates. Well, before the feature story, let's check the trivia answer for this week. The correct choice is A, and that 18% provides 40% of the world's crop production.